When my friend and I visited Conisty Nature Park on a warm day, we couldn't help but stop to observe all the turtles hanging out on the logs. There was quite a variety of sizes and patterns, which led to a discussion of the difference between these basking turtles. Where I'm from, it seems like 90% of the time we see one variety, the eastern painted turtle. Not true for South Carolina. And then I realized that I didn't quite yet know how to identify these basking turtles. So today, we're talking turtles, specifically one of the more underappreciated residents of southern ponds and rivers, the River Cooter. Welcome to Nature of the Upstate, a podcast sharing my investigations of the natural world around the Upstate. I'm your host, Laura Beltran with Nature Investigations. Since I'm new to the Upstate South Carolina area, I thought I'd research different nature topics of things I've observed while exploring the outdoors and share my findings with you. So sit back, enjoy listening, and please subscribe. And remember to spend time outdoors. Why do we call it a cooter? Because cooter comes from a Mali word, kuta, K-U-T-A, meaning turtle. The term cooter is used throughout the Southeast to refer to various freshwater turtles. The river cooter's scientific name is Pseudemis consina. River cooters are one of these animals that's easy to overlook because it looks so ordinary. It has a brown to olive colored shell, a head with yellow stripes, and a pretty standard semi-domed turtle shell shape. Nothing too flashy. But once you take a closer look, you'll notice that their shell is covered in light, C-shaped concentric markings, kind of like ripples on water. Their skin is olive or brown with those sharp yellow lines running down their limbs and neck. They're usually found basking alone or with other cooters on a sunny log or swimming among water plants. So how do you know you're looking at a river cooter and not a red-eared slider, a yellow-bellied slider, or an eastern painted turtle? Let's break it down. Red-eared sliders have a bold red stripe behind each eye, kind of like built-in sunglasses. Cooters have no red stripe. Painted turtles are smaller, usually around 5 to 7 inches across, and they've got vivid red markings along the edge of the shell and limbs, making them much more colorful. Yellow-bellied sliders have yellow patches behind their eyes and a bright yellow plastron, and the plastron is the bottom shell. River cooters tend to be bigger. Adults often reach 9 to 13 inches. Their shells have those fine swirling lines instead of bold patches. And when it comes to food, adult river cooters are mostly strictly herbivores, eating plants. That means you'll usually find them in slow-moving rivers, lakes, and ponds with lots of aquatic vegetation. Think duckweed, water lilies, and pondweed. That's their buffet. And that's why Conisty Nature Park is perfect habitat for them. They spend their days grazing underwater and basking in the sun. Since river cooters are ectothermic, meaning they rely on external sources to regulate their body temperature, think cold-blooded, they bask to regulate their body temperatures. Swimming cools them and basking warms them. Other reasons to bask include UVB exposure to synthesize vitamin D for calcium absorption, and they bask to control parasites and algae growth on their shells. River cooters are also skittish. If they see you first, they'll slip in and plop into the water before you get too close. But if you're quiet, you might be able to get close enough while they're basking on a log, or you might spot one lifting its head while swimming. Come spring, females crawl out of the water to dig nests in sunny, sandy areas near the shore, out of the water. They lay around 10 to 20 eggs per clutch and may do this more than once in a season. But here's where things get tricky. River cooters are sensitive to drought. In a long-term study in South Carolina, researchers found that during drought years, fewer females laid eggs at all. The drying of aquatic habitats caused turtles to either leave an area or simply shut down reproduction for the season. That's a reminder of how closely their lives are tied to the protection of wetlands. Here's the part that surprised me the most when I started looking into the river cooter. Despite being one of the most common turtles in the southeast, they're really understudied. They're often grouped with freshwater turtles in studies, with little data on their specific habitats, migration, or genetics. We don't really know how their populations are doing across their range, how climate change might affect them, or how altering wetlands may impact them. Why do they matter? River cooters are like aquatic gardeners. Their mostly plant-based diet keeps aquatic vegetation in check or in balance. Too much growth, the pond can get choked. Too little, erosion can take over. Cooters help keep that balance. They're also prey for raccoons, birds, and fish. Protecting them means protecting wetlands, which in turn means protecting many other species. So, the next time you're walking by a pond or boating on still water, keep an eye out for a basking turtle, and it just might be a river cooter. You can log it on iNaturalist, share your observation with others, or just pause a moment and appreciate a turtle that deserves more of our attention. Thanks for joining me for this investigation on the river cooter. You can find links in the episode notes. Also, please think of subscribing. And if you're interested in tips and lessons for interpretation and environmental education, look for my Substack, Reflections from the Field, at fieldreflections.substack.com. Until next time, I'm Laura Beltran, reminding you to stay curious and stay connected to nature. Let's get outside, Upstate.